just going to... There you go. I think we're recording. Jan Beta, how are you doing, sir?
Hi.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome, absolutely.
we talked about it a while back, and then I think both our lives got busy for a while, so
yes.
I had to cancel my well, put it on hold for a while. But thank you very much. I think a few months delay, but thank you very much for doing this. Like always, I don't really have a plan. We'll just start chatting maybe about what you do, your channel, and then see where it takes us. Straight away, I like the lab stuff behind you.
Yeah, that's the side of the lab nobody ever gets to see usually.
So myself there. Shells, theirs are so handy. But I think I discovered your channel. Was it a year ago or something like that? And I was looking. A friend of mine had given me a Spectrum, a computer. His old Spectrum computer, but it wasn't working. So I was looking for videos online on how to fix Spectrum computers, and I came across your channel, which is funny because you mostly really do Commodore stuff, but you've done a few Spectrum videos.
Yeah, it was the Spectrum videos were just an accident because I got a Spectrum. They are really expensive here in Germany to get
really?
them. Yeah, they are really pretty rare. The Commodore 64 is like everywhere, and the Spectrums were like only a very small group of people had Spectrums, so they are pretty rare here. So it's mostly far less expensive to have them shipped from the UK somewhere.
Yeah, the UK had a ton of them.
And I found one from Germany that was really cheap because it was, I think it was, I don't really remember if it was broken. I think it was advertised as being broken or untested or something, and it totally worked. And then I did like the composite mod and got into Spectrum repair and read about it, and really interesting little computer.
Yeah, they're I like the insides of it. Actually, it's pretty straightforward and simple. There's no
it's pretty easy to work on actually, so it's a nice thing to hack into, I think.
But I got mine working. But that's when I sort of discovered your channel, and I was like, okay, subscribe. And still back then you had just a few thousand subscribers, but not the numbers you have right now. I think, was it back in July when your channel sort of exploded overnight?
Yeah, it was this collaboration thing that we did with the 8-bit guy. Actually mentioned. Everybody knows the 8-bit guy, right? He actually mentioned a group of YouTubers like Mindflare Retro is another one, and Perifractic. We did a collaboration and built a Perifractic built an Apple IIe case, and he built a Raspberry Pi into it, and we it was like he sent it on and everybody contributed a little part to the project, and then in the end it landed with the 8-bit guy, and he basically made our mistakes go away and finished the project.
That was a funny one actually, because he was like, okay, I don't like that, I'm gonna redo that. Yeah. It's like, oh god.
He just undid everything we did basically, and then made it proper. It was like the granddaddy of retro YouTubing. Did a proper job in the end, so we all just tagged our stuff in. So
it was cool. I like the 8-bit guy's channel actually. It's something very just nice and calm about it. It's like LGR, and
it's really enjoyable to watch for whatever reason. He's like he's not the showman or something, but he's just a sympathetic guy. So.
Yeah, he's quite knowledgeable as well. I mean, he's able to stay very high level for a lot of his videos, but you know that if he needs to get into programming or soldering or that kind of stuff, he can do it as well. It's cool to watch. But
he's a great programmer. I was really surprised. He was doing all those games now. The I don't even remember what it's called, but the strategy game on the Commodore 64, which is pretty much nice. I didn't know he could do that.
Did you get a copy at all? Or?
No, I did. I missed the point where it was a Kickstarter, I think, and I totally missed it. And then the copies were sold out, and then I lost sight of it, basically.
Likewise. So how did that project start? The build with the other YouTubers.
The Apple Pie E. It was Perifractic's Chris' idea to do something like that, and was pretty. Yeah, he just asked us. I think he basically watched my channel before and started his channel like being inspired by my channel, really. So he said, and he imitated me in the beginning and stuff like that, and said, "I am Jan Bieter." It was pretty funny, and so we started chatting, and he came up with this project and thought it would expose us to larger audience, because the 8-bit guy was in there quite from the start. I think he asked around, and the 8-bit guy just said, "Yeah, I'm going to be in there. It's interesting."
It's lovely to hear.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised. I was totally surprised that he would do it with. We were all very small YouTubers compared to the 8-bit guy, who has like 1 million subscribers, or 700,000 or something, and we were all like 5,000. And I think Perifractic was at 2,000 or something. I was more than Perifractic. Mindflare Retro, the other guy, was like 1,000 subscribers. It was really small channels.
I wish Mindflare would upload more often, because he's got some very nice content.
He is. I absolutely love his content. It's so sophisticated. I mean, my videos are more or less like I do the stuff I do anyway, film it and talk about it while filming it, and then basically cut out the parts that are not suitable for YouTube and upload it. So it's not very sophisticated video editing or anything like that. It's just me sharing my hobby, basically. And Mindflare does a lot of work. For Mindflare does a lot of work for his videos to look nice and to sound nice, and he does voiceovers and stuff, something I rarely ever do. So I really enjoy his videos. It's really nice. And he's a very nice person.
I don't know him at all. I don't know him. Maybe I should get in touch, get him on this as well. But it's you mentioned the editing. There's something nice I like about your video, is that it's pretty much processed, there's no, it's just it's the bare bones. I know there's some editing involved, because you have to go through all
there's actually more editing involved than it looks like. I think as it takes a lot of time anyway.
And that's why I do stuff like that on my other channel as well.
Yes, I know.
Because it's like all my music videos are heavily processed, obviously, and heavily edited, so it's nice to have something where you can just relax. You don't have to worry about angles, and then the video is what you get at the end. That's what it is, and that's it. There's no there's no special effects or heavy editing. It's kind of nice to do that and relax and be able to enjoy what you're doing, not have to worry about filming.
So I really think it's enjoyable to watch, because it's like you were in the lab with the person doing stuff. So
likewise, it's
like I really enjoy that, and that's why I do it like that. Like I think the inspiration for doing it like that really is the EEV blog.
Okay.
Dave on the EEV blog. So that's why I often cite him, like saying something's hunky dory or something.
He's got some pretty info. Every time I'm looking for something on YouTube, his channel comes up inevitably.
He's one of the few people who really know the business on YouTube. So we are all just amateurs, really, and he's the one who really knows his stuff. And he answers the questions, really. That's the good thing. So you can hit him on Twitter and ask something, and he answers.
I wonder if it's because I'm doing some of it myself, and that's what YouTube is recommending to me now. But I'm seeing a lot more interest in general for channel like yours that are unprocessed, essentially bare bones, and just not overly technical, but has just the right amount of explanations for people to feel comfortable. I
Maybe that's a trend. I don't know. So the people are getting into electronics again, and like on a level that is not too deep, but they want to be able to do stuff and repair stuff themselves. I think that's kind of a trend. The whole hacker movement and maker movement. And
it started with mods, and now it's repairs and stuff. It's interesting though that I very much like. Maybe it's because I'm getting older as well.
That may very well be.
But yeah, no, I wonder if it's an artifact of me having an interest in that and then seeing more on YouTube, or if there is indeed more of an interest in general. But how was the scene in Germany for you? You know, as far as consoles and computers, what was the dominant force back then?
Definitely Commodore 64 was everywhere. Like the one I had as a kid when I was 9 years old in 87 was the one they sold it at Aldi. I think it's now Aldi is all over the world. It used to be a German supermarket, and they sold a cheap version of the Commodore 64, and that's when I got one. And basically they continued to sell cheap versions of the Commodore 64, and by the beginning of the 90s, nearly everyone I knew had a Commodore 64 somewhere in the family, and it was really, really, really widespread. And the other systems were there was the CPCs were a thing, but not very many people had them. And then some had Atari STs by then, some had Amigas even, but that was rare because they were pretty expensive still.
Yeah.
And the Commodore 64 was like the people's computer, like Jack Tramiel always intended it to be. It was really cool.
They are robust.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
really.
I know you fix a lot on your channel, but
yeah, but they are breaking now, like 30 years later or so.
Yeah.
They were at the time they were pretty robust.
But even if you find one more often than not, it'll work. I mean, it's
and surprisingly, there are some ICs that are really badly made in retrospect, but still most of them work really. So the RAM chips are sometimes a bit tricky to get to work, but most of them really work. So that's cool.
I got one. I was given one. The bread bin one recently. It's here, and I fixed it. I didn't quite film it. I just filmed what I'd done afterwards. I pretty much socketed everything. But it's a fun computer to work on actually.
I like the fact that it's so well documented now, that there are so many websites and resources you can get about the Commodore 64, and so many people working on it, and there's still so much new hardware being made for it, and so it's still such a great scene, so easy to get into it. So
that's what I tell everyone whenever they comment on, electronics and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, well, I do and I don't. Like, I don't have a formal training in it. I just have a passing interest in it. But now it's tying to something that I'm very passionate about. So it helped me, build the skill. But also, it's so well documented that you can actually get pretty deep into it with your, somebody holding your hand through the medium of YouTube. But and telling you exactly how everything is working. Like, there's very little that hasn't been found out or discovered. So it's a matter of spending the time, maybe learning, and then obviously getting the right tools and the skills. But the workings themselves, pretty much every schematic is available somewhere.
That's very, very
has
nice.
been redone by somebody.
Yeah, there are even new circuit boards for the Commodore 64 and stuff.
I've seen that. Yeah, have you?
That's amazing.
Did you get into that at all, or did you get?
No, I'm not. I'm just. I'm still. I don't know. I'm not sure about what to do with the new boards, because I really like the idea that there's some people who are so deep into it that they made these new boards with the old chips, or the other new board which has an FPGA that emulates the whole system on one chip, basically. But I'm really the person to work on the real hardware, because I like that even more. It's like the smell and the heat that's emitting and stuff. It's like, it's just better.
For me, it's not so much the having it or the game, is working on the actual hardware and keeping it alive for that much longer.
That's I realized that the first one I repaired, I actually repaired to use it. And then I realized I enjoy repairing them so much more than actually using them, that I rarely ever use the Commodore 64 at the moment. I work on them all the time.
Likewise,
It's pretty strange.
I got a pile of about 10 Mega Drives for, I think it was 50 euros. They're all broken and working. I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna get to work on these. I'm gonna get to work on these now. I've no intention of playing them, and now
Yeah,
I fixed most of them. I think I was able to fix 7 of them, and I'm like, well, what will I do with?
Did you film all the repairs?
I have some on the channel. Yeah. Most of it is power connector.
Oh, okay.
And
I have to watch. I actually got my first ever Mega Drive a couple of days ago. That is broken. I think it just had a stuck reset switch or something, but I don't know yet. I didn't test it.
Yeah, usually it's power connector reset buttons get worn because it's plastic. It gets chewed up. Caps and the sound goes sometimes. Replace the chip.
Okay.
But whenever sometimes it's because there's 2 custom chips in there. And that's the problem with a lot of arcade or 90s technology is there was a lot of custom VDPs and custom chips for address decoding and that kind of stuff. And because these are surface-mounted technology, it's very hard to replicate them. You know, because the standard through-hole chips, you can do it in your room. You know, it's relatively easy to replicate at home on a small scale, but surface-mounted stuff, unless you go to full PGA road, but then it's not the same pin count, it doesn't match, it becomes a mess. It's really hard to replicate. So a lot of these are doomed for the moment to slowly die because you cannot get repros for it. Same with a lot of arcade boards like the Capcom CPS one, like Street Fighter and Final Fight and all these games. There's the few customs that Capcom made, which was great at the time because it sort of diminished the amount of chips you had to use, but it means that when they fail, that's it. There's no repros.
That's pretty bad. So, yeah, the arcade stuff is really, really interesting, but I don't have room for that. The whole room basically, apart from this part, is full of computers and consoles piling up. I got huge donations. Like, I think I mentioned in some video that I got a donation, and after that video, everybody contacted me and said, I have this computer I could donate, and I have this computer, and now I have like a lot of computers and a lot of consoles. I never really planned to get into consoles. Yeah. And now I have like a Mega Drive and a Master System too, and
that's great.
Super Nintendo.
I've a ton of donations as well. As soon as you sort of mentioned that you can repair or
always. I never intentionally did that. So
I get a lot of stuff sent nowadays. It's fantastic, and
it's absolutely fantastic.
I usually ask, is it working? If it's working, try to sell it. And if it's not working, I'll take it because I can fix it. I can try and fix it.
Yeah, all the stuff is slightly broken that I got. I usually decline working stuff, so because it's just not so interesting for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about having the system, because
I'm not at all a collector. Or I don't intend to be. I am a collector now, because I have all these systems that work. I have a working C64. I have a working Amiga. I have like all these systems that I can't really give away, or because they are. Yeah, sometimes I use them.
So how did the whole channel start, and why did you decide to do repairs?
Yeah, there was. I decided it's really. I got into electronics. I worked as an audio engineer, and had to do like fix cables and fix little stuff on mixing desks and solder wires back on a microphone and stuff like that all the time. But I didn't really know anything about electronics. So I started. I think I bought a broken like amplifier because I didn't have an amplifier, and thought I'll just get into it and watched YouTube videos and learned from the YouTube videos, and started repairing amplifiers and selling them. So I had some extra money, and then I thought, why not try make a YouTube channel? And I started making a YouTube channel and repaired vintage receivers at first, and then I repaired my first Commodore 64 because that I got to play on it and get back into the Commodore 64. I repaired that, and it was so much fun and so rewarding to get it back working that. And I got a lot of positive feedback on that video, and thought that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix Commodore 64s, and then other systems came. Yeah, that's how it started. And it really started like I wanted to give something back, and repairing these receivers, I made some of my own stuff up, like how to fix hum in Transformers and stuff like that, and I wanted to share that. Really, that's the intention of this channel.
And did you ever had a goal to start a channel, or at the beginning was it just, I'm just going to upload a few videos?
It was no intention of anything really. I just did it for fun, and I did it in English really to get back into English and learn English, and to overcome my shyness really, and to see if I could do it. So that's why I never appeared on camera in the beginning, and then it took really long for me to dare to appear on camera.
That's a rare privilege.
Yeah.
But no, I get that, man. I really get that. For me, doing the music channel and the other channel was really, a lot of it was to overcome personal shyness, and then better my English, be more at ease, because I work in corporate environment, but I have to do presentations all the time, and I was never comfortable really talking to people, and YouTube definitely helped over the years, really, definitely helped. And I had to force myself initially to work on the videos and script what I was going to talk about, and get to the point where I didn't have to script anything anymore. You know, English isn't our first language, so it's really difficult sometimes in your own language to clarify your head, but then to bring that to another language.
Yeah. Of course, yes.
And then I'm lucky because I live in Ireland, and you know, I'm surrounded by that language, but it's just I can imagine if you're
it's really tough to find people to talk to. That's a whole different thing. Now it's a whole different situation for me and to make videos, because I know I can look up, which I rarely do. I can look up vocabulary and stuff, but I don't usually do that. But I feel more secure. I feel insecure talking live to not a native speaker in this case, but to a person who speaks with me. I have the same situation. We have a Greek guy at work that I can only talk in English to, and it's really, he knows my channel, and he said, "Yeah, you're so good at English, and you can talk and you're so shy when you talk to me. Why is that?" And I just say it's a whole different thing. It's just a whole different situation to speak to someone in person.
There is a comfort when you're doing your own videos, when one is doing their own videos, where you can stop, you can do a retake, and you know, re-edit.
Yeah, it's just an extra level of safety, I think, something.
Yeah.
So
it's funny, the shyness thing, because when I was a kid, I was actually so petrified of interaction. I couldn't even go into a shop and ask for something.
I had quite the same experience. I was really, really shy kid and really, really silent. Yeah, so I just
really had to
listened all the time.
To exactly know what I was going to ask, and then if anything went that wasn't planned, I would literally freeze or run out.
I have quite the same experience. I think a lot of YouTubers have that, actually. There's like LGR made these videos. He has these anxiety problems too.
Yeah.
Like he's really, really, really bad socially interacting with other humans, I think. And YouTube is a way to channel that in a way. So you can train to communicate with people on like another level. That still is communication, but you are in the safety of your own home. It's like a safe way to train that, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, it's not the real world, but you're still working on that skill.
Yeah, I think it's you still like practice your skills in a way.
I'm much better than I was when I was younger, you know, but sometimes I still don't like going to conventions or things like that. I'm just not at ease there, and or even I don't go to pubs anymore because there's nothing for me to. I don't like interacting on a very shallow level anyway, so it's kind of hard for me to just.
That's the thing for me too. Yeah. The shallowness of the small talk stuff is like, why?
Yeah, I don't. And Ireland they're champions for small talks and banter, and they love it, and I have a hard time with it. But that's why one of the reasons I'm doing these videos as well is because I've met a lot of very, very talented and nice people over the years, whether it's music or surfing or martial arts or electronics. Sorry, I keep bumping into this. And I love talking to them, but it's really hard when you're at a convention or in a pub or in a social environment when there's distractions and you can't have that one-on-one interaction and take the time to talk to somebody. So that's why I wanted to start this extra content and channel, because now you can set a time. You have an hour or more or less, 50 minutes or whatever, but it just, now you can take the time to actually just talk, simply talk without interruptions. I like that.
Yeah, I really enjoy talking to you. And I enjoyed the format. I watched a couple of these, and it's really interesting to get to know these people from another angle.
Yeah. I'd love to get, you know who I'd love to get is, we talked about it and he said yes, in principle, we just have to find a time that suits him, but it's Chris Hulsbeck.
Oh, Chris Hulsbeck, yes.
And
a huge fan, and you are too, I know, from your cover. But, oh man, yes, he's great.
And I said, look, if you come on that, I don't want to talk about music or games or Commodore. I want to talk about what you're doing now, and what he's doing now is amazing. He's sold his house years ago, pretty much everything. He bought an RV, and he and his wife are just touring America in an RV.
Oh, that's great.
Just meeting people. So he has a YouTube channel where he posts videos from that of either sceneries or
okay, I didn't know that.
Or crazy people.
I have to look that up.
Yeah,
nice.
I'll send you the link afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
To his channel, yeah. But it's super. I want to talk to him about that and he goes to Burning Man and then has videos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just crazy life.
That's cool. That's so good for him. I think. Yeah. Good on him. I think he's a really shy person too. From his appearance, and it's cool that he has this way of life now.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like watching his stuff. I think it's crazy because he's got like 1,000 subscribers at most or something like that. Like you're going.
I was really surprised when you know who Bill Hurt is.
No.
The designer of the Commodore 128.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, okay.
And like he's really popular on Hackaday and stuff like that. And he has a YouTube channel too where he posts some of his speeches at conventions and stuff. And he has like very little subscribers.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised about that, because the stuff he talks about is really interesting, and he's a really good speaker too, and funny guy and stuff like that. So that's strange to me. But YouTube is strange in general. There's so many good channels that don't get any exposure, so the algorithms are strange.
It's funny because YouTube, I mean, we're in sort of that retro realm of YouTube as well, which is a niche within YouTube, but you would think that the actual actors and makers of all these video games or music or or creators themselves of video games would be the most popular people, and yet it's nobody's like you and I that seem to get the sub.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of nerds basically who are that deep into it.
Yeah, and I
don't know.
Encourage people to follow the actual makers, to follow the developers and all that, because it's so much more interesting than listening to me talk. I mean, I'm delighted they are, but talk about this chip and that chip when you can actually get first-hand information from all these people.
And Bill Hurt is actually a person who shares it very readily. So if you can ask him, I posted on Twitter like a picture of the back of the PCB from the Commodore 128, and it says like RIP, rest in peace, Hurt, Fish, blah blah, the engineers who worked on the board, because they did overnight shifts. And he actually had posted a picture of it, and he answered to the tweet and was like totally humbled by it, and said, whoa, okay, it's Bill Hurt himself who's answering my tweet. And he just said they did overnight shifts to get it ready for the big consumer CES show to present the ready the finished product. They did pretty much and he slept in his army sleeping bag on the floor of a really cold room, and he just tweeted that to me, so that was really cool.
That's the thing I love now about with the age of the internet, because I'm sure you did. I grew up in a time when there was no internet. Information was so hard to get. If you were lucky to get it, you only got one version of it, or flawed, or in either incorrect or incomplete segments. So nowadays you have access to so much so fast, and to connect people like that, you know, like the fan and the actual maker, and
Yeah.
then get that instant reaction from them. It just I'm always amazed. Like that's where I'm
That
showing my
is
age
totally
again.
amazing.
I'm just absolutely amazed by how it. That's what it's for. That's exactly what the internet is for. Not pictures of cats, not.
Yeah, absolutely. That's communication. In the end, it's a communication device on a really large scale, and that's in this little niche of the internet. It works really well, I think. Like exchanging information with the people who actually invented stuff,
Yeah.
and like the people helping each other. I really like the forums. The retro scene is so. It's so. I mean, I used to make music like not on your level of making music, but I had a little band and we had a little website and like MySpace and stuff like that, and it was a whole different thing communicating with these people than it is in the retro scene, because everybody in the retro scene is so helpful, and everybody it's a really great experience to be in this scene now for a change. The music scene is a lot more like they're all rivals and everybody's like a little bit suspicious about what the other one does. In my experience, it was really like a tougher thing. There were structures that were helping a lot, of course, but there are a lot of people who want to take advantage of you or who want to make themselves look better or something like that.
Yeah, there's
so
definitely
it's a different thing.
An element of competition
Yeah.
in the video game music world, which is my other channel. There's definitely. I mean, we're all friends, but there's a sense that we're sort of competing with each other, and we're not. You know, it's a big cake, and because you know you make your own cake every time you release a new video. It's not like you're taking from somebody else, or that somebody is taken from you. So but there's still that old music mentality of we're all in competition, and when one does good is because it's at the expense of somebody else, which is just not the case. It's a shame. It's still kind of like that. It's getting better, I think, and now you get younger people who don't come with this attitude into the scene, and I think that's the part that's great, I think.
Yeah, that would be great, of course.
But YouTube has changed the game for a lot of musicians as well, because now you can have a career, or it's an extra gig. Like I always say, that's the best musical gig I've ever had. You know.
Yeah, that's true in a way. Of course.
I never had.
That was my musical career was before, or pretty much. YouTube started when we ended the band, and that was we had like I think we had some snippets on YouTube, but it didn't really use the platform.
What did you play?
I don't know, maybe.
What did you play then?
It was like indie rock.
Okay.
Like 80s influenced indie rock.
What
and I was also the bass player.
Okay.
The bass guitar.
Any interested? Are you still playing or?
I am still playing, but not in bands actually. I'm just for myself. I have a little project with a friend. Actually, we rehearsed yesterday, which is we basically I think the goal is to make Eurodance with distorted bass guitar and some hip hop influences.
Wow.
But it's not really serious. It's just we had some beers yesterday and just listened to some songs and just made like a little
a beer project
plans to be a project, yeah. Because I have all this equipment here, like a MIDI keyboard, stuff like that, and I never ever use it. So I thought we should make something. And we just talked. He's a colleague of mine at work, and we talked about making music. And he said, "Yeah, I have these beats from the '90s that I made back then, the hip hop beats." And I said, "Yeah, let's maybe work on something."
I'd love to hear.
Well, we'll see. It's just for fun, so it's not really serious.
Did you make the music on your channel, or the music you can hear?
Yeah, partially. I made I had this little loop, which is just I think 4 bars of chords changing with some arpeggiators on there. That I made myself, and I always intended to make more and finish this. It's just like an unfinished piece, but then it became my soldering music, and it stayed my soldering music. And then recently, a guy from Norway contacted me and said, "Hey, I love your channel and I want to contribute." And he contributed songs, so I have or like tunes, and so I have a variety of tunes now that sneak in and link his Bandcamp site and stuff, and it's
that's
really cool.
Yeah.
Because he used to be in the Amiga demo scene, and you can still he does his stuff on modern equipment now, and but you can still hear the influences, so it's really fitting for the channel. I think it's really.
Is it like the 8-bit guy as well has some cool music that are very reminiscent of sort of demo?
Yeah, it's like kind of the same, but a bit more wavy. It's like a more relaxed, I think, so, most of it. I really like it.
Very cool. So have you any plans then for your channel at all, or are you just going through one video at a time? But
I try to have plans, but it's not really working with my way of working, because I have these multi-part videos at the moment where I start with part 1 and then I never get to do part 2 really, and then 3 months later or something I just go back to it and say this is part 2 now, and we do this, and in between there's a whole bunch of different videos. Usually I have a plan for a Christmas project, but I don't know if I can make it. I actually have my I did this Christmas project where I recreated my old Commodore 64 setup, and that worked really well, because I did like 4 weeks before Christmas. I made a video every week which had one component of the setup, and I refurbished it and repaired it and stuff. That worked really well, and I want to do kind of the same with my Amiga setup.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know if I can make it. I would have to start, and I haven't even started making the videos yet. So
that was very good. For people who are not familiar with what we're talking about, you did a video where you recreated your old Commodore setup with the monitor, with everything you had back then. That was a very enjoyable video. Was actually, well, it was a couple of videos, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 4 videos. And then 4 videos, and then one finale for Christmas where I put it all together. And I had a photo of me sitting as a 9-year-old in front of my Commodore 64 setup, and I tried to recreate that with me being 40 years old now. It was kind of, I was a bit taller and wrinklier.
That was very cool. Actually, I encourage people to watch that.
Yeah, it was really fun to do that, and there were a lot of people saying that they really enjoyed it and really were inspired to get their own setup back together. That was really cool to hear that from people, that they're actually inspired to do the same. Yeah. And they actually posted photos to me on Twitter and stuff. That was really cool.
I never had that problem. I still have my old Amiga and my old MSX here.
Oh man, that's the
monitor I had. So
I have my Amiga. I still have too. That's for this Christmas project. I hope to refurbish that one, my old original Amiga 500. But the Commodore 64, I had to get a new one because that was sold to finance the Amiga back then.
That's heartbreaking. It's only years after you're going, why did that? Like that. I was talking to the Neil from the Retro Man Cave. I don't know if you're, and he was. We were talking about something like that, but he said, like, he sold all his old computers to finance new ones and all that. So
that was quite normal.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people did that.
Deeply regrets it. I never really had to sell my stuff because I would use them for so long that by the time I had an interest in the Amiga, for instance, the Amiga had been out for a few years already, so there was quite cheap deals to be
okay.
And I think
you wouldn't have got much for your old systems then.
No, anyway, and then I bought it from a friend of mine who wanted to buy something else or a better Amiga. So I always managed. The PlayStation one was the same. It was at the end of its life, and I think I got it for quite cheap with ton of games. So I was always doing that. But buying in generation almost late, but then you get stuff for super cheap.
Yeah, but that's cool. I think So now you have all your stuff still. That's cool.
So was the Commodore your first your first computer ever, or console?
The Commodore 64 was my first personal. My father had a TI 44A, no, 4A, 99, TI 99 4A. That's what it's called.
I got sent one of these recently, actually, to fix.
I have one. I bought one on eBay, and I never looked. I bought it like a year ago and never looked. Yeah. But I showed my father the TI 99. He was really oh, this was my first computer. It was his first computer. It was really, that was a nice moment.
Yeah, I showed my dad, because my dad worked for Philips, so that's how we had the
Oh.
OSX stuff. So I showed him a lot of,
Nice.
you know, the setup I have here, and then I still have the video pack. It's not the original one we had, but I got a new one since, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." That's what he worked on. The oscilloscope I have here is my dad's.
Oh, nice. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what he had in the office when he worked there. So yeah, it's really cool. But no, I was talking about your plans for YouTube. I was more talking, I think, about sort of, have you long-term plans? Would you like to do that full-time, for instance, or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I really enjoy it, and my day job really sucks. So I really would love to do this full time, but it's really like a dream thing. So it's not really, at this point, I think it's not really realistic, because it's really like a niche thing. But I never thought that I would get this much subscribers anyway. So
yeah,
no idea where this is going.
You'll find that it sort of snowballs as well. You know, it's you get to that 10,000 mark, and then now your sub rate sort of doubles, and it kind of naturally snowball like that. I found.
Okay.
It's never as fast as you want, of course. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you have to be patient with the YouTube stuff. That was the very beginning on YouTube was like, it's so slow. So you have like 2 subscribers, and then you have like 10, and then the first couple of months were like you have nobody watching, and which was fine with me, because I did this for me anyway. But I was surprised how little there was, because we had all these tags and stuff, and people could search stuff, and you would think that they would find your stuff, for especially repair videos when they're looking for it. But I think the YouTube algorithms are a bit more complicated than that. So
yeah, they are, and plus when everybody is optimizing, then it just levels the playing field back down. It's just I hear, you know, about people talking about all the tags and thumbnails and the title length, and putting you can do everything right, but so is everybody else. So at the end, we're just back to zero, and so YouTube has to change regularly. I think
what really stands out for me are people. Like it doesn't even matter how good they tag stuff or how nice the video quality looks. It's just the person has to be sympathetic, and I have to like the person and the style, and then I enjoy the videos basically.
Yeah, exactly. Likewise, but to find them in the first place is that
that's really hard.
Find you in the first place is the hard bit.
Yeah,
and you're watching paint dry for your first few years of the channel.
It takes long. I had it was like a surprise. I repaired like a cell phone. Like I changed the battery in a Sony phone Xperia whatever, and that was it must have been at the right time when all the battery and all the people's phones died, because that video got really many hits. I don't know why. It had like 100,000 hits when I had like 1,000 subscribers, and it was really that helped a lot. So I got searched a lot more. I think I don't know how the algorithms work, but that was a surprise success. Right, it was like the 4th video I made or something.
Wow,
that helps.
That's very good.
Kickstart the video.
Yeah, once you have a few more videos, obviously the chances of you being discovered or by a search increase with every video you make. That's how I found your channel, looking for repairs.
Yeah, I found yours long before you found mine. So I was like a fan of your music video. And I always thought, well, that's a cool thing. So I never really listened to other music videos like game music. Like I had some of the piano guys and stuff like that, playing the Joanna Sisters theme on piano, and then you appeared, and I was stuck, and I'm like a subscriber forever to your channel.
Banjo, was it the Turrican movie? Maybe the Turrican covers.
Yeah, I listened to the Turrican thing very early on, I think.
Yeah, Chris Hulsbeck, actually, he was one of the first people to support the channel on Patreon. It was after the first Hurricane movie.
That's nice.
Movie, cover. Yeah, he's still a Patreon on on the
That's
channel.
cool.
Yeah, it's, I mean,
Alright.
yeah, I'm a patron on his as well. But
Yeah, he is a
it
patron.
cancels out, but
Okay.
yeah, he does.
But it's like a gesture of,
yeah, I think that's, yeah.
admiration for each other.
But,
That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, well, I did contribute to your Patreon there for a while, but
Yeah, that was really cool. And I should contribute to yours,
No,
really.
no, I'll come back.
I felt like really that's wrong. That's the wrong way. I should contribute to Ollie's, but
No, well,
but it really helped. It was, I think you joined in when I had all these problems and had to move, and it really helped me. I have this lab basically. I only can afford to have this extra room because I got many more Patreon supporters. When that was a really hard move, by the way. I'm not addressing my problem.
No,
so
yeah,
I'm just to say I have a tough time and I can't make many videos, and to go out and tell people on YouTube was really, really tough.
Yeah.
But I felt like apologizing because I couldn't make any videos, and the answer was even more humbling because people started supporting me. Like, it was just a landslide of support coming, which was really, really helping. Like, psychologically and monetarily, was really good to have that.
People give out about, trolls online and all the drama and all that kind of stuff that happens online, but when you find yourself in a tricky spot, you realize that there's fans there that will help you if you need help, one little bit at a time each. But it just that's the nice part about having a channel like that. It exposes you to a lot of shit, but it also makes it allows you to, like that, get at least some support from obviously people.
Yeah, that was really
content and wanted to support,
really cool.
wanted to make sure that you were set fine first before you make videos again. That was cool to watch. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. But it was heartwarming to watch the support to your channel, and when you're getting through your trouble. I was I should have said at the beginning I wasn't going to mention any of that because I know you wanted to be private about it. So that's
but that's totally. I can say private. I can. Yeah.
But no. Yeah, you had to move. You had to move to a new place for some reason, and you stopped making videos for a while. So that's the gist. But no, it's cool. No problem at all. I'll come back at some point. I went through a patch as well of money trouble here, so I had to cancel it.
Oh, you don't have to. Absolutely don't have to.
So no, I like supporting channels that I watch. Essentially, I think that's the looking forward with YouTube monetizing being the way it is. I don't know if you get hit by the monetization. I can't imagine you would.
No, I don't have any videos monetized yet. So really? I don't. Okay. I think there's at the moment there's this point where YouTube starts favoring people who are monetizing their stuff.
Okay. Why do you not monetize them there?
I don't like ads. I don't like having no control about the ads that are in the videos. I don't like watching ads. I know you can have ad blockers and block them all out. That's what I do personally. I don't. Usually I block them all out and don't get ads on any channel on YouTube. I know that I'm not supporting the people making the videos, but I just can't stand ads. I don't watch television at all because I can't.
Yeah.
I can't bear it really. Ads
I don't
are
have
like
a television.
Wow. Yeah, I have one. I got one. No. Yeah, I got a donation actually. And now I have television.
But then that's even reinforcing my point, because then, which as a maker, it's really as a small content maker, you cannot rely on the YouTube ads to sustain your channel. So Patreon is definitely the way to go. And people are gonna get annoyed at me because I say that in almost every video, but it's true. It's true. I probably said that in the previous one, but you support the process. You don't support the end result. You support.
That's the thing I really like about Patreon. That it's made to support the creators creating stuff. Yeah. So it is like on another level. And I get it that YouTube has to run ads in the end because they are not they have to finance their service and stuff. But as long as it's avoidable, I try to avoid it.
Yeah. Have you
But
followed?
I don't know how long I can hold it. There's people starting to talk about that they are not getting as many hits as before. There was like a point last month or something where they really started favoring the monetized videos.
Oh, really?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, there was like Dave from the EEV blog mentioned that, and Fran Blanche, who's a maker working on vintage electronics. She got really she got a huge loss of views recently
Is she the
because
lady
she didn't.
who had to move shed recently? She had to move out. Or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She's moving, and she had really financial problems and problems of all kinds. And yeah, that was one of the problems really, that her videos didn't get any hits anymore.
Yeah. So you're on Patreon exclusively enough to to sort of help finance the channel.
Yeah, that's at the moment that's the only thing I do. I had these Amazon affiliate links.
Yeah.
Because I tried that out, but it's not really, I'm not really a fan of Amazon, so I just phased that out slowly. There's still links in my old videos, I think, but I'm getting kicked out of the programs because I haven't made any earnings for a year or so.
Yeah, I think
just get kicked out.
Yeah, I set up a thing as well, and they kicked me out because I wasn't doing anything with it. All right, well, goodbye.
But that's okay.
So what is your setup? I see a scope there behind you. What do you work with primarily? Is it?
Yeah, so I have like a little desoldering station here. Can I move the camera a bit?
It's all right.
No, it's not really working. It's not really working out. So I have my little trolley here with stuff.
Okay.
That is set up here. My tools, and actually my workbench is in front of me, but you can't see at the moment.
So scope, desolder station. Maybe.
Yeah, I have a soldering station, quite a good one, and an old good one.
Yeah.
And the desoldering station is actually the Chinese one everybody uses now. That was a really successful video of mine reviewing this station. There are so many people using this station because I made a video and said it is okay.
Oh really? What is it? The Hako one? Or?
It's like a ZD915.
Okay.
It's like a really cheap. There's not even a brand name the brand name changes, and it's like ZD91. It's really like 80 euros or something.
Okay,
it's really
well. I got a Hako.
Good value for money.
Yeah.
And they didn't pay me to say that.
I got a Hako one, but they're pricey.
Yeah, they are really good. I think this is actually a copy of a Hako, an older Hako that they just ripped off.
And the tips are very expensive to replace as well.
Yeah, these are really cheap. But, I think you can use this with Hako tips as well, I think. But I didn't really need to. They come with like 3 tips in different sizes, and I didn't really have to replace one yet.
Oh, fair enough.
Although I use it all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I replace them twice a year sometimes because the old arcade boards are just full of dirt and.
Yeah, there's a lot of crud on there. I can imagine.
Stuff you find. Oh my god. But that's very cool, dude. Yeah, it's interesting. Like you, there's a minimum setup you need, but at the end, sometimes you don't actually need that much to do repairs. You know, maybe a logic.
Most of it is like skills that you have. Like you can work with a like a 10 euro soldering iron, I think, and like solder wick, and it works, and like a soldering pump, but that's just painful. I don't want to go back to that. It's just if you have a desoldering station, it's just so much easier to work with. But if you do it only from time to time, it's absolutely fine to use simpler tools.
It's convenience, really.
Yeah, it's a convenience thing.
A scope though changes your life.
Yeah, scope is really. I'm still getting into working out how all the functions work, but I don't really understand scopes, but I understand what I can do with them. So it's really interesting. And I made some videos where the Commodore 128 videos where I broke the 128, and then I tried to fix it and had to use a scope to like scope the data lines and stuff. And that was actually the first time I did that really. and there were a lot of comments that told me how to do it properly, and so I could fix the board in the end because the commenters told me what to look for. People spotted a mistake I made and said, yeah, this data line, that's too low. And I didn't even know it was too low because I thought, yeah, the levels are fine. It's all. That was really cool to get that help. And it was not the kind of you're a loser, you can't even use the scope, because I don't claim I don't claim I can use the scope. I just say just doing this for the first time, and this is how the data line looks like, and yeah, it looks fine to me. I think that was really positive. There was no one like bashing me for being an idiot.
No, I find this
really
a
nice
thing on my repair channel as well. It's just there's some very knowledgeable people around, and I'm surprised that they watch my stuff in the first place because they're far more knowledgeable than I am. So it's like, but when they have advice, it's always very nice and helpful. There's always a couple of people who go, you do it wrong, and
yeah, they're always there. That's just a thing. But I'm really surprised how little I get of that.
Yeah, and
so there's really small amount of trolls, of just most of them being Germans who criticize my English. Really, that's the most trolling I get is Germans who are really like, no, I don't really get it, but.
Yeah, and it's funny.
It's kind of strange
when you get people like that. They sort of criticize a thing that is unrelated to the content of the video.
Yeah, they're not even interested in the content. I think. It's just
telling me about the audio. Yeah, just details on the audio or details on the monitor. They could hear the monitor buzzing in one of my videos. I was like, no, it was turned off, and we got into a big argument.
That's nice. No, it was turned off.
Yeah, I was like, no, the monitor was turned off. I know because I made the video, but obviously they thought contrary to that. So it's just really weird sometimes. You get into discussions of just...
Yeah, I usually just don't join the discussions anymore. Yeah. I'm just at a level where I can't answer all the comments anyway. So I'm just leaving those ones out completely.
Yeah, I actually delete them because
just don't react. Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah, exactly. I don't reply anymore to these, and I delete them because I don't want anybody to fall in that trap either. Sometimes people mean well, but
they engage in the discussion. Then that's a good way of doing it. Deleting comments. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, because they engage in the discussion and it just escalates, inevitably escalates.
It's some people arguing in my comments.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that.
No,
So I just delete.
Yeah,
but dude,
probably the right thing.
I think we've been chatting for an hour. I don't want to take too much of your...
I don't have a clock here.
Yeah, but well, I don't know. But I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you have videos to make, and things to repair.
I have a Game Boy to repair.
But that was super fun. We should do it again because you know
definitely.
I'm a fan of what you do. And if you have anything to plug, I think probably now is probably the right time. You've a Jan Beta channel on YouTube.
Yes, Jan Beta, youtube.com/Jan Beta. That's my channel. And I have a Patreon that's also patreon.com/Jan Beta.
Awesome stuff, dude. Thank you very much for doing this. I'm glad we finally found the time to do it. And
thanks so much for having me.
We'll chat again soon, and hopefully we'll do this again.
Yes. So bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.